guess tell me about the perception of America throughout the Middle East right now. Tell us from your standpoint, as a Muslim, as a Saudi, what the word is on America today. And over the last 8 years, has that perception changed?
Well, you know, look, I'm a friend of the United States since decades ago. And there's no doubt that really the image of the United States in the Arab world and Islamic world is very wobbly. And is not really, is that we're not sure that we can count the United States. But I hope with the incoming administration, a firmer stand and firmer position will be put to us, whereby we know exactly the position of the United States. You know, remember the United States drew a red line against Syria, and that red line was crossed. It was not really implemented by the Obama administration. So, but that's history, obviously. Now we have a new administration going to be sworn in imminently. So we just hope that the new administration will try to have a very clear strategy, very clear policy towards against ISIS, and to really differentiate between enemies and friends. You know, we in the Arab world are friends of the United States, and we like to be friends of the United States, but also like the United States to have very clear positions against certain issues like ISIS. Like we never talked about the Israeli-Palestinian crisis also. So this has to be back on the table, honestly speaking.
So do you have any thoughts about the idea that Rudy Giuliani could become the next Secretary of State? I mean, if this is basically the ambassador, the spokesperson for America around the world, what do you want to say to that potential, that newcomer to the administration? What do you want to say to Rudy Giuliani if, in fact, he does become Secretary of State?
Oh, sure. Mr. Giuliani has proven his expertise and his strength during the 9/11 era. So no one can dispute the strength and the power of Mr. Giuliani. Mr. Giuliani performed extremely well under extreme pressure and very difficult situation when the United States was under attack when he was the mayor of New York. So Mr. Giuliani has done splendid and extraordinary work to really placate and to calm down the New Yorkers during the attack of 9/11. So I think it'd be a perfect choice whether he's chosen for the Secretary General, for the Secretary of State of the United States, or any other position in the new Trump administration.
Prince Alwaleed, let me ask you about Saudi Arabia's energy minister warning Donald Trump that his promises to block oil imports will risk the country's economic health. Saudi Arabia, of course, huge producer of crude oil. Would a block on importing oil damage the global economy?
Well, you know what Trump said, what President-elect Trump said when he was a candidate for the presidency, please, we should forget all that. We should now begin listening to what President-elect Trump says, and more crucially and more importantly, to what President Trump says when he is inaugurated in sometime in January.
Okay. Let me ask you about what you want to see in terms of the relationship between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia right now. Do you think that the relationship gets better with Donald Trump as president?
Well, this is our sincere hope. You remember that King Salman was one of the first leaders of the world that talked to Mr. Trump personally, and send them a very cordial congratulatory message. So I think we began on a very good track here. So I'm very optimistic about having the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the United States strengthened even further than it is right now.
Let me ask you about markets, Prince Alwaleed, because obviously we're seeing a big, what they're calling a Trump rally. Ever since the election, these markets have been hitting highs after highs. I know you're a big investor with a big portfolio, including media as well as technology. Have you been a buyer in this market? Have you been putting money to work in the U.S.?
Well, you know, we have been investing in the United States since more than 3 decades. And obviously we are always looking for opportunities in the United States. And clearly the market was very optimistic with the election of President Trump, and you've seen how in the last 1 week or so we have seen the market going up on daily basis. So I think this is somehow a very optimistic view about what Mr. Trump will do, and he's looked at as being positive to the market, which is something we're welcoming, obviously.
So is that warranted?
Sorry?
In other words, is that warranted? Do you want to buy?
Oh, no. I mean, look, we always take a rifle gun approach. We never take a shotgun approach. And clearly some companies now are very much overvalued, but some companies are undervalued. As you have seen, that there has been a rotation in the market whereby The banking shares now have been rallying dramatically. Like Citigroup, for example, went up from 49 to almost 55 right now. We have seen how some of the technology companies have been hit and hit badly, somewhere between 5 to 8, 9%.
Right.
Big companies like Facebook, Google, etc.
Sure.
So it's, we will wait and see. We will not rush at all. We just take our time.
Prince Alwaleed, thanks very much for calling in. We appreciate your time this morning.
It's a pleasure to be with Maria always, anytime.
And a quick disclosure, Kingdom Holding Company has a stake in the parent company, 20th Century Fox.